Hi. Yeah, so I'm all by myself in London for Thanksgiving. But I was in Italy last week with my family, and that made me happy. But now I'm sad, and the weather here is sad, and it's cold and rainy, and everybody looks miserable. Just kidding, well, it is still cold and rainy, but I'm here for Wembley Cup, and I'm staying with a good friend, Chris Mackey, so life is good. And it's gonna be even better for previews and predictions, that show that you guys like, I think. I don't know, because my views are down and I'm losing subscribers. And no, I told myself that I would never complain on camera about not being as big as my YouTuber friends, because you shouldn't compare yourself to others. You should only do it because you love to do it. You should only do it because you love to do it. You should only do it because you love to do it. You should only do it because you love to do it. You should only do it because you love to do it. Wait. Was this recording? I thought this was a rehearsal. Cut this! No, stop. Actually, cut it after I say hit the like and subscribe button, and then turn on your goddamn notifications. That's an order. Now you can cut it from here. And first up is the London Derby, Tottenham versus Chelsea. And I know there are a lot of London derbies, but it's just one of many. Whatever. And I'll be honest, I like the Blues in this one because, one, they're better. And yes, I know Eden Hazard has slowed down a bit and hasn't scored a goal for club or country in over 6 weeks, but they got N'Golo Kante and Jorginho in the middle of midfield, so they always have a chance to win every game. Also, number 2, Chelsea are undefeated and only sit 4 points behind that wonderful Manchester City team that everyone loves to gush over, so they have that winner's mentality. Also, side note, I'm going to West Ham versus City on Saturday with Spencer, so you and me, us, we can chat on Monday about how wonderful this City team really is after I see them in person, because it's one thing to see them on TV, it's another thing to see them in person, so I'm excited. And 3, Chelsea have Maurizio Sarri as a manager, and he's coming off an international break, so that will give him more than enough time to have the perfect game plan written up. Of course, Spurs manager Mauricio Pochettino could say the same thing. 4, Chelsea is going to want revenge after Spurs beat them at Stamford Bridge last season 3-1 the last time they played against each other in the league. 5, I think there are issues inside the Spurs' camp, specifically with key playmaker Christian Eriksen, who is said to be unhappy at the club with Real Madrid interested. But maybe it has more to do with the impact that Lucas Moura has made this season, which has made Eriksen less influential. That said, Spurs have done quite well. They sit only 1 point behind Chelsea despite any issues that may be happening behind the scenes and with injuries to key players. But 2 of their 3 losses have come at Wembley against top 6 opponents. They lost to City and they lost to Liverpool. And if you guys remember, they got embarrassed by Barcelona there too in the Champions League, which means I think I'm going to stick with this trend of Spurs losing to high-quality teams at their home stadium. So I'm sorry, Spurs fans, but I'm also not sorry. Chelsea are going to win this 2-1. And now let's turn our attention to Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona. And this could be a tough trip for Barcelona for a number of reasons. And yes, I'm going with a numbered list again, so deal with it. And 1, Barca are notorious for not playing well after an international break. But since Messi isn't playing for Argentina at the moment, and because Luis Suarez played his games for Uruguay in Europe, maybe it won't have much of an effect. I don't know. I'm speculating. That's what fake pundits like me do. We speculate. 2, Barcelona have not lost to Atleti in their last 6 meetings, so maybe they're due to finally lose. I'm playing the odds here. 3, now I know it's a crime punishable by death to say that Barcelona are better without Messi, but they didn't lose any of the games when he was out with an injury, which included them crushing Real Madrid 5-1 in El Clasico. And then when he came back, they lost at home for the first time in La Liga in like 25 years to Real Betis 4-3. So I don't know. Okay, you know what? I do know. Messi is a beast, and his teammates need to pick up their games when he's on the field. 4, however, with Ivan Rakitic hurt and suspended, and Coutinho not fully fit, this could be a long day for Barca, especially because Atleti have the league's best defense, but Barcelona have scored 34 goals in 12 games, whereas Atleti have only scored 16, and their captain Diego Godin is hurt, and his normal center back partner Jose Jimenez is most likely out too, which means Diego Simeone, the manager for Atleti, if you live under a rock, is going to make the lines even tighter to play through to accommodate for his second string center backs, which means I expect us to see a lot of tactical fouls from Atleti and really condensed team shape. And my fifth and final point, Atleti goalkeeper Jan Oblak is arguably the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment, and they're going to need him to be, especially since Atleti cannot score, especially star striker Diego Costa, who is without a league goal in his last 18 matches, which is Alvaro Morata playing for Chelsea type bad. So yeah, I'm going to be bold here and say this one ends 0-0. And up next, it's Lazio versus AC Milan, as 5th place Milan travel to Rome, where I just was, to face 4th place Lazio, which means these 3 points are huge. But unfortunately, if you're a Milanista, I think I said that right, Milan will be without a few key players, including the suspended Gonzalo Higuain, who, for better or for worse, depending on if you're an Higuain fan or not, is Milan's leading scorer this season, so this feels like a bad sign for Milan. As is the fact that Lazio are pretty good at home. They've won 6 out of their 8 games in all competitions, with their 2 losses coming against 2 superior opponents, in my humble opinion, in Inter Milan and Napoli. So they can be forgiven for dropping points against them. However, with a lot of speculation surrounding the future of one of their stars, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, who apparently is available for the right price according to Lazio's club president, who just admitted this recently, and this is big news for teams that have the money to buy a player like him. Maybe that will have a negative impact on Lazio, or maybe it won't. Maybe they'll be inspired to play well while he's still wearing Lazio's colors. I don't know. But what I do know is that Milan have way too many guys that are hurt, and Lazio's Ciro the Hero Immobile hasn't scored for 2 weeks, so he's going to be hungry to score some goals. So I like Lazio to win this 3-2. And now we're heading to Argentina for the second leg of the Copa Libertadores final between River Plate and Boca Juniors, where it's all squared 2-2 after the first leg because, fun fact, there is no away goal rule in the final. Also, another fun fact, this game is being considered the biggest club game in Argentine history. Yes, it is that monumental, which is why it's apt that they're playing at the El Monumental, which is River's home stadium, which holds up to 70,000 people, none of whom will be Boca supporters because River is not letting any of them in, just like Boca didn't let in any River supporters in leg 1, which is just one of many examples as to why this game is going to be incredible. But I fear that my beloved Boca Juniors, who aren't as talented as River, and I can admit that, but who I believe play with a lot more heart, could get overrun, but they have no support in the stands, and where they don't have their paciest player, Christian Pavone, who could get in behind and stretch River's defense because he hurt his hamstring early in leg 1, which means Boca gets a lot slower up top, which makes them less dynamic overall, which makes them more predictable offensively. So even though I believe they can do it, it is going to be an uphill battle. So I'm gonna say 1-0 to Boca, but that's still me hoping and wishing that that happens. And I hope that it does. And then finally, let's talk a little MLS playoffs because there are only 4 teams left, and leg 1 of these semifinals are on Sunday with Atlanta United hosting the New York Red Bulls and the Portland Timbers hosting my beloved Sporting Kansas City. And in the first matchup I mentioned, the Red Bulls have to be coming into this with a lot of confidence since they are unbeaten in 4 games against Atlanta and have already beat them twice this season. However, Atlanta have already taken the scalp of one New York City team in these playoffs after easily dispatching of David Villa and NYCFC. And they have Joseph Martinez on their team. He is the league's leading scorer, and he set a record for goals in a season this season, and he has my vote for league MVP. And Atlanta are unbeaten in their last 11 at home. Plus, the Red Bulls lost leg 1 of their quarterfinals clash with the Columbus Crew, and then came back and cruised in leg 2, so I don't think they're going to be too down on themselves when they lose another leg 1. That was what I was trying to say. So I think Atlanta wins this one 2-1. And then in the other semifinal, it's the Timbers, who think of them as your stereotypical Jose Mourinho team in a big game. They have no problem relinquishing possession, sitting deep, soaking up pressure, and then hitting opponents on the break with the reigning league MVP Diego Valeri and another player that I think is very good, Sebastian Blanco. And it's worked to great effect in these playoffs, having knocked out hated rivals the Seattle Sounders and then FC Dallas. However, Sporting Kansas City were the #1 seeded team in the Western Conference for a reason, baby, and they're more like a Pep Guardiola type team. They like to play out of the back, they like to keep possession, and they like to create numerical advantages as they advance up the field. The issue, though, is that the Timbers' home field plays very small, and I think this works in Portland's favor, but I still think Kansas City's overall quality will help them get something out of this game, so I'm gonna say 1-1. And all right, that is it. That is all I got, even though I know it's the last weekend in Liga MX before the playoffs start there. And I'm sure there are other big games in other countries around the world to talk about, like or the Conradinos versus Monaco, just to see if Thierry Henry quits on the spot if Monaco lose again, which could happen. But I'm done talking, so let me know who you think is going to win between Spurs and Chelsea. And if you get it exactly right, you'll be entered to win some Warm Ballers gear. So good luck on that. And then, of course, watch the Wembley Cup on Sunday on Spencer's channel. And then, yeah, what else do I have? Oh, yeah. If you live in London, I'm working on a pickup game for Monday evening. So follow me on Twitter or Instagram for more details. Once I get things finalized, it'll be a lot of fun. Okay, now I'm done. Have a good weekend, everybody. Later.